If you want to build an agency to 100K a month, it's on easy mode coming into 2025. And if you don't know me already, I've scaled 2 different agencies to 100K a month and advised just over $30 million in agency revenue. Now, the stage of the agency game right now is weird. It's more saturated than ever. But right when one door closes, another one opens, which honestly leaves a big fucking opportunity for people as long as they know what to do. And honestly, you might have seen it yourself, like 15, 16-year-old kids making $200,000 a month with their agency. And the reason why they're making so much more money than you is not because they're smarter than you, not because they're better than you, or anything like that. It's because the way they're approaching the agency game right now is different than anybody else. But honestly, these 3 things that they're doing in their agency that you're probably not are super simple, they're super easy. You can implement them into your agency like today and see results as soon as tomorrow. So in this video, I'm gonna be going over those exact things so you can hit your first $100,000 month. So as always, lock in and let's get to it. Now, the first thing that they're probably doing that you're not is messaging and framing their prospects correctly, right? The first thing I kind of want to go over is you need to be framing the call as a sales call, not some free audit, not some free implementation call, not some walkthrough call where you're going to walk them through the system, not something where they're going to get free value. That's just a waste of your time. And I want you guys to think of it the same way when it comes to B2C, so like for your clients. I'm seeing people all the time. This is actually the biggest problem with people's fulfillment that I've ever seen. It's literally like free roof inspection, free solar quote, free XYZ, free this, free that. First off, I don't fucking want free people in my ecosystem. I don't want people collecting bids. I don't want tire pickers. If you're going to show up, you're going to show up because you want to buy the thing. I'm not interested in wasting my sales team's time. You're not interested in wasting your client's time. And so we need to frame the prospect properly. So when they show up to that call, they're ready to buy something. We need to be optimizing for the amount of qualified offers we make. And like not even that. We need to be optimizing for the amount of closed deals we have, not the amount of book calls. I don't give a shit how many book calls we have. We could book 3 calls a month. And if they all close, I'd way rather that than have 100 calls booked and 3 closed, because those 97 calls that aren't booked are just a waste of energy, like mental capacity when they're not showing up, but they're also just a waste of fucking time. So there's a fine line between like how we're gonna frame like the actual sales call and like what we're gonna say on the sales call to make sure that every single slot on our calendar can be generating us revenue. And like, if you don't take away one thing that I've ever told you, like take this away please and actually like implement it. I don't give a fuck how many calls I'm booking with ads, with outbound, with whatever. I don't give a shit. I would actually rather book less calls, like I was just talking about, than more calls that don't show up, that don't buy. So I'd stop framing your call as some free audit, as some free implementation, as some free inspection. Stop getting the guys who are literally tire kickers. Your clients are telling you, oh, these leads are tire kickers. I wonder why, because they want free shit. Anyways, that's besides the point. But first things first, frame the call as, hey, do you want this? We're here to buy stuff. We're here to take action. I'm gonna kind of jump around on this little doc that I have, but like, don't waste time, right? Like I just said, you're gonna be wasting time trying to like dial these leads who aren't even interested in buying something right now. Instead, I would be using the time to find an actual qualified lead that's in pain right now. Those leads, it's not like we're saying fuck off, we don't like you. It's like what we're saying to those leads is just like, hey, you don't want to buy something right now. I'm not going to push you over the edge, because let's say they're even here, and right here is the time that they're willing to buy, right? Where they're in pain. They're just not in the stage of like the sales process yet, or in their buying phase. They're not enough pain to buy something yet. Let's say we get them on a call right here and we push them over to buy. Sure, we collected the cash, but on the back end, they weren't ready. They're going to be looking to refund. They're going to be looking for reasons to say that the product's not what you said it was. Like the risk of reward is not there, in my opinion. In some businesses, maybe people are selling like B2C, they're selling some biz op offer or something like this. We can do that. But if you're selling agency services, especially to people who aren't super fucking like rich, like I only want to be closing people right there, or else you're asking for chargebacks, you're asking for everything to go wrong. But that said, to sum things up, it's literally just like, instead of just trying to get book calls, it's like, I'm trying to get closed deals. So the book calls that like I know aren't going to close, I'm not taking those, and I'm spending that time spending more on ads, creating more ads, reaching out to more people, trying to find the next lead that actually can buy. Another thing I want you to keep in mind about framing and messaging, how we're framing our marketing, how we're framing our products in our prospect's head, either prior to them on the sales call, or anytime before they become a client. So just like framing our funnel, framing how we're framed in their head. Messaging is like the marketing message we're putting out, who it's targeting, and things like that. Now, when it comes to messaging, now marketing is not about attracting everybody. If that was the case, then I would put an ad out to be like, everyone want to make money. You know what I mean? And like, I would end up being broke. But you really want to hone in on your niche. For example, in my case, solar business owners doing over around 20 deals a month, 20 installs a month. I don't even want anybody to find my ad attractive or to find my message attractive that's doing less than that. Like, for example, Cole Gordon gave me this example and it fucking changed my mind about everything. Let's think about it like this. Your offer itself does the targeting and what you're saying. Let's say I was running an ad that was like targeting agency owners. I wanted agency owners to buy something. And I was like, hey, agency owners, I'm gonna get you to book calls. I'm in essence targeting a broker or agency owner, one that doesn't have 6 figures liquid, because I'm basically saying, hey, if you don't know how to book calls, I'm gonna help you. If they don't know how to book calls, they're not closing clients, so they're not doing over 30K a month. You know what I mean? But if I were to run an offer that'd be like, hey, agency owners, I'm gonna place a fractional CMO into your business, then I'm not gonna get anybody under 200K a month, just because of the nature of the offer. I'm deterring everybody who isn't attracted to what I'm selling. You know what I mean? I'm not over here being like, hey, everyone come, come, come. I'm trying to get every agency owner under 200K a month away from me, and I'm trying to get those 200K a month guys that are deeply in pain. So for example, in my ad when it comes to solar, I might say, hey, if you're tired of door knocking all day, because again, if I'm saying if you're tired of door knocking all day in my ad, then literally I'm targeting somebody that door knocks. Somebody that door knocks, sure, in solar they can make like 20K a month, probably even more if they're on doors, but that's not the person I want, because I want a business owner. I don't want some rep that knocks doors all day, you know, because they're just going to be not as good as a client for us. But if I were to run an ad, like I said about, hey, are you tired of door knocking? That's all I would get. I would get no business owners. I would literally get no one on the phone that I would like. Let's say I would be like, hey, if you're tired of your sales team leaving you because you can't put qualified appointments on their calendar and they're good sales reps, then listen up. At that point, the messaging, the framing is deterring everybody else and only getting the people to convert who I actually want. Same thing with the landing page. The first question on the lead form landing page, and I know I'm talking about ads, but you can use the same principle, whatever marketing you're doing. The first question on the landing page is, are you X? Are you who I want? Are you an agency owner over 200K a month that I'm placing a fractional CMO into? Are you a solar business owner closing over 30 deals a month with the sales team? Yes or no? If no, leave this page. I don't fucking want them to convert, because then I'm again wasting my time booking calls with people who don't fucking matter. Like I said earlier, just proper messaging to get high quality leads, proper pre-qualifier, which is what I was just saying, like if you have a sales team and getting deep there. And then one thing we need to do I haven't mentioned yet is we need to make a one-pager. A one-pager is something I got from Rabi Abivala, which is like make a one-pager of exactly the type of person you're serving, how you're helping them, and what you're helping them do. What this allows you to do is get very, very good with your messaging and your framing, because we're using words like, for example, again, it would be solar business owners over 30 deals a month. They have around 2 sales reps. They're filling their sales reps' calendars, but their calendars aren't being filled every day. They're consistent at sales. They already have a good sales process. They use words like kilowatt. They use words like cancellation. They use words like things like this, you know what I mean? So, and then I would be able to use that in my ads. So if you guys haven't done that for your offer, I would highly suggest making a one-pager. Now, number 2 is going to be the biggest lever in profit, which is pricing. Pricing is fucking huge. First thing, if you're an agency owner and you care about revenue, you should go fucking jump off a cliff. Revenue is the least important metric ever heard in my whole entire life. Like, I'll talk to these agency owners. They'll be like, I did 50K a month. I don't give a fuck what you did. How much money do you have invested? How much money is in your bank account saved? That's way more interesting to me. All I'm saying by this is like, I don't care how much revenue you're doing. The only thing I care about is profit. What are you taking home every month? Even if you're trying to create value in a business, create enterprise value, the only thing that matters is profit. What's your EBITDA? What's your take home? And we're not over here talking about these big revenue numbers. I literally had this one client. I'm a little low-key chatting this video, but whatever. I had this one client. He was at like 40K and he had 1 week left. He's like, Cole, I need to do 10K this week. I need to do 10K this week. If I do 10K, I'm going to hit my best month ever, 50K. And he was like, if I need to spend 1.5K a day in ads, I'm going to do it. And I was like, dude, I'm not helping you do that. You want to spend fucking $2,000 a day just so you can hit a number on a Stripe screen and screenshot it? No, dude, go save that money, take your 10K, pay it to yourself. And then after you pay yourself, go invest the rest in your portfolio, be aggressive with it or whatever investment strategies you run. Now, point being is the only thing that matters is profit. How much are you taking home every single month? I don't care how much your revenue is. I honestly don't. It's a vanity metric, right? It's just to look pretty, but pricing is the biggest lever to be able to increase profits. Now, the first thing that I want you guys to take into account that you probably heard me say before is think about Lamborghini versus Honda, right? Lamborghini, yes, it costs them way more to make the product, way more, but not the amount more that you would think comparatively to price. Now, why is Lamborghini able to charge so much more than Honda? Because they're going after a premium avatar. People like me, people like hopefully you guys watching this video eventually, they're going after a premium avatar. People like me, people like maybe some of you guys watching this video, right? And so we're talking about being a premium and targeting the premium, the cream of the crop, or we're talking about being a commodity, fucking trying to compete with Toyota and trying to compete with all these other shit car brands. It's not, which game do you want to play in? Because personally, I don't want to be in this Honda bullshit. First off, the person that's spending all their paycheck on a Honda is expecting to get the most amazing car in the world. People spending money on a Lamborghini are literally knowing, hey, I'm going to lose money on this. It's a depreciating asset. Hey, I'm going to spend a fuck ton of money on gas. I'm going to spend a fuck ton of money on maintenance. And they're like, it's worth it. So same thing with your clients. It's like, hey, this guy's going to cost a lot of money. Ad spend's going to be a bunch. Not all the appointments are going to be qualified, but I'm going to make my money back and it's worth it. Versus a Honda client is going to sit there and be like, oh, I got one qualified appointment. I didn't get, this one wasn't qualified. This lead didn't pick up the phone. You know what I mean? I know all you guys have been there if you've landed clients. I would way rather have a premium price, so have high pricing power with like Lamborghini, a good product, and a high high LTV rather than the exact opposite, low price, bad product, low LTV. And it's like, it's kind of a circle, right? It's a triangle, because it's like, okay, well, if we charge a premium price, we're going to be able to get really good talent so we can have a premium product, which enables us to charge a premium price. I would charge more money, pretty much in all cases. I'm going to show you exactly how you can charge more money to the clients that will pay more, but still land the clients that are going to pay you less. Now, this is a strategy that I got from Tanner Chittister. Went to his apartment, paid like $2,000, $3,000 to get a one-on-one from him. Honestly, he told me to keep doing everything I was doing, but there was this one lever that he told me to do that helped me a bunch. So this is a pricing model to increase profit and close at higher percentages. So first things first, you have whatever price you're doing. Now I'm going to use a typical 5K PIF in the agency world to use this example. I want you to double it. So whatever you're super uncomfortable with selling. Now, when you're going to double it, you're going to think, oh, I'm going to lose a shit ton of money. I'm going to show you how you're not. But the second thing is that when you put something more expensive, people perceive it as more valuable. Even if you're not giving them a single extra thing, people are going to be like, oh, it's more valuable because it's more expensive. Louis Vuitton, Cartier, like brands like this. It's like, literally, it's cool because it's expensive. It's a status symbol that you can buy nice shit. Anyway, so up the price 2x of what you're currently charging, and then also calculate a minimum that you would take. So for example, Tanner Chittister, his Elite CEOs program, which was like helping people scale their business, at 16 grand. That's what he anchors it at. That's the price that was 2x, like I was telling you guys about, like the high price. The minimum he would take is 4, so it'd be 1K a month. He has 16K is what he wants to get, but the minimum he'll take is 4K. So the first thing we're gonna do, and I'm gonna use these examples, right? 16K and 4K. Let's say these are both PIF prices for your normal agency service. So you anchor it high, right? You anchor it at 16K. And so you say, okay, it's gonna be 16K for 4 months. We can break those up into more manageable pieces if need be, and then you shut up. Let's say they're giving you money objection. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna need to tie down value. So the first thing we're gonna do is tie down value. We have to make sure they see it as valuable, like really fucking valuable, because it's 16K, or else they're never gonna buy it ever. Before we get into it, the pros of offering something like this is we're gonna be able to collect 16Ks, but we're also gonna be able to collect the minimum we would take, so we're collecting cash no matter what. We can get the high of what someone is willing to pay, but we can also close everybody. So our close rate's gonna increase, but our profit will also increase. Like I said, tie down value. We have to make sure they see it as valuable. So the first step would be like, okay, 100% agree, Mr. Prospect, this is an expensive thing. Price aside, do you feel that it would get you to XYZ desired outcome? Do you feel like it would get you an extra 20 deals a month? Yes or no? If he says yes, we move on. If he says no, what we have to do if he says no is like, no, like just curious, like what's really coming up? So if he says no, or if there's any hesitancy of him saying yes, so maybe he's like, do you think it would help you get 20 deals a month? And he's like, probably, or yeah. We call you that out. So we either call it out if he says no, or call it out if there's any hesitancy. What we'll do from there is be like, we'll have to repitch basically like what's coming up here, and then we just have to make them see the value. If they really don't see the value, then they're not seeing something in the program that they wanted. Maybe they didn't hear you that you said you were going to call their leads, or maybe they don't want to get their leads called, right? So they have some sort of underlying objection about the actual program that you need to help them handle. But after that loop, the first loop, which is tie down value, saying like, okay, do you see it as valuable? Let's say they say yes, we ask them why, and they're going to sell themselves. If they say no, then we have to call that out until they say yes, and then we ask them why. So we always end up at the same place, them seeing it valuable. After that, we do something called an open wallet. So an open wallet would be 100% Mr. Prospect when it's in situations like this, where someone really wants to do it, but it's just a matter of making it work financially. We can try and make something work. Would you be opposed to having an open conversation about your finances to see if we can make something work? They're going to say no. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to having that conversation. If they are opposed to having that conversation, they're bullshitting you and they're not going to buy. There's a different objection other than price. So we would go back to value. If they're not willing to tell you how much money they have, we need to go back to value. Anyways, we ask them how much money they have, and let's say they're like, I have this much, this much, this much. Then we'll tie down value again and be like, and you really want to do this, right? So after we get how much money they'll have, we'll make a custom plan. And the way we'll phrase that is, okay, so in situations like this where our prospect or where a potential client like really want to do it, what most of our clients do, we'll put X down and then X a month. As long as you give us a killer referral once we do the good job and a testimonial. So we lower the price to however much money they have, right? Basically, we make them a custom plan and then we ask them for something in return. And so one, we have to make sure that they see it as valuable, because if they don't, then literally we just drop the price for no reason. Now, I used to not love dropping price, like lowering it before Tanner Chittister told me this, because it decreases value of the product. Like people see it as not as valuable. But what it does end up doing, what we can do is we can ask them for a testimonial and we can ask them for a referral. And that's like, hey, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll work on you with the price if you're willing to do this. You know what I mean? So that's how I would phrase it. So that's how you can collect on the 16Ks, right? Because let's say somebody's like, oh fuck, I'm down for 16K. Well shit, now we're super profitable. But let's say somebody only has 6K, then we can also pitch 6. And if somebody's mad at you for doing this, it's your business. People offer Black Friday deals all the time. It is what it is. Yeah, also something I was talking to you guys about earlier, higher price equals a higher perceived value of your program. Now the next thing I'm going to be going over is sales tactics to close more deals. One thing, like I was just talking about, is we're always going to tie down value prior to doing anything else. So step one, no matter what we're selling, no matter who we're selling to, no matter if they're super B2B, no matter if they're oh my God. Well, shit. Anyways, no matter if they're super B2B, no matter if they're B2C, no matter if they're sophisticated, no matter if they're not, first thing, tie down value, no matter what objection they give you. So let's say they say, think about it. Let's say they say partner. Let's say they said, I need to pray over it. Let's say they say anything. First thing we ask, 100%, that aside, do you think that if you did this, you would make more money? Essentially, that's all you're gonna ask them. They say yes, like I was talking about earlier, we move on. If they don't, then we still tie down value. From here, we wanna label the objection as either logistical or emotional. And we can oftentimes be able to tell just based off what they tell us here. But a logistical objection would basically be like, I physically can't afford this, or I genuinely need to talk to my business partner. I can't move forward if I can't. An emotional objection would be like, I have the money, but I'm scared to move forward because I don't know if I'm gonna make the ROI. Another one would be like, I want to talk to my partner just to see their input, and I'm asking out of respect, not out of permission. So once we tie down value, right, we have to determine basically whether the objection is logistical or emotional. And like basically all we have to do to figure this out is just attack them with questions. Or not attack, just like question them and help them understand like what the real issue is, right? So let's say, for example, their objection was money. First off, we'd go, money aside, would you do this? And so we could say, okay, is it a matter of how can I make this work financially? If they say, should I even do this? It's fear, because they have the money, they just told you, but they just don't want to do it, or they're scared to do it. But if they say, how can I make this work? That means they literally don't have the money. So from there, we know if they say, how can I do this? It's an emotional objection, and we need to handle it as such. If they say, oh, can I even do this? Like, I don't know if I can make this work, whatever, then it's a logistical objection. We're gonna have to lower the price or like see what we can do from there. So let's say they say partner, a loop we could walk them through is, okay, 100% John. And again, we go value first. Do you think if you got in the program, you got the support, we ran your ads, that you would get to XYZ result? Let's say he says yes. Why? Okay, but I still have to talk to my partner. Okay, John, do you think if Tim here was on the call, like he would be in support of you guys growing the business? And okay, you and Tim, like you guys probably had a conversation about like the call before this, no? And let's say he's like, no. And then we could say, okay, John, when you go to Tim, what happens if he says no? So if Tim says no, if his partner says no, and John's like, oh, if he says no, I wouldn't do it. Then in that case, then he's probably asking out of permission and it's a logistical objection. But if John's like, I would do it anyway, then he's probably just scared and it's an emotional objection. So every objection, we have to go tie down value and then figure out if it's logistical or emotional and handle it from there. Next thing in objection handling, we like to use a lot is cost of inaction, which is basically like, what happens if you don't? He's saying it's expensive. It's like, yes, it is, but which is more expensive? You doing it or you not doing it and not getting more leads and only closing 3 to 4 roofs a month? Which one's more, you know? And him closing 3 to 4 roofs a month. Because another way we can reframe our prospects on this is like, what would happen if you did this 3 months ago? Like, what position would you be in today? Would you be better off today or no? So this is one of the most powerful things we can walk them through, especially if it's emotional, right? Because if the objection is logistic, there's genuinely nothing you can do as long as they see the value besides be like, all right, well, how can I make this work with you financially? Or, okay, well, what does your partner need to see from me to be able to make this decision? Or should we get your partner on the call? But if it's emotional and it's fear-based, we can do cost and action, right? So, well, John, what happens if you don't do anything and 2, 3, 4 months down the line, we're not getting any more leads, right? It's the same thing, like consequence. What happens if nothing happens? Super powerful. And then another thing we do is identity labeling. So like, first off, prior into the call, we'll be like, okay, John, and I see you're a super straight shooter. Like you take action fast, right? So at the end of the call, if he's not taking action, we can go like pull that other section of the call back. But something else we can do is like, well, there's 2 types of people, John, right? And Jeremy Miner just posted a video about this and this was fucking fire. But he was basically being like, there's dabblers out there who like dabble about getting better. And then there's people that are looking to become masters. The ones that become masters, the ones that are action takers who actually want to make a change. And those are the ones that end up succeeding. So like, which one do you think is more likely to win, the master or the dabbler? And of course it's the master. And so we're labeling him as a master. So those are a few sales tactics to close more deals. Last thing is these are just KPIs that hit 100K a month that I wanted to go over. Number 1, it's how many clients can pay us between 2 to 10K a month. This is not a game of can I close 30 clients a month? It's I probably want to close 8 to 12 clients a month, and how long can we keep those clients? Can we keep them long enough to make a shit ton of money, or is our product shit? So we want to keep churn under 15%, and we can't do that targeting fucking brokies. I see churn so high with agencies, and it's not even because their product's that bad. Sometimes it is. I'm not sugarcoating it. It is a lot of the times, but a lot of times it's because they're targeting fucking brokies. Y'all are targeting brokies. It is what it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. So of course, like 50K a month, they're like really hawking over every lead that you send them. Versus if you're sending somebody 300, 400 leads a month, of course there's going to be really good ones in there, and they're going to look at the ROI over the whole month versus a day-to-day ROI. That's a hard thing about agencies is it's almost like a daily ROI because it's Facebook ads. You know, so they're getting billed by Facebook all the fucking time. So every time they're getting billed, they're like, this is not ROI, it's not ROI, this is not ROI. But every time they're getting billed, they're like, this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. So do I even want to do this? That's why broke clients are hard. So these are the metrics like front end that we want them to look like. Cost per book call, 50 to 200. Cost per offer made, so how much it costs us to make an offer, 100 to 250. Cost per acquisition, 1 to 2K. And again, these are high numbers, but first off, we're hedging. But second off, I'd rather pay more and get a fucking good client than a brokey. I just have that. So be willing to spend more for a bigger LTV, and keeping clients makes it easy as fuck to scale. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go to my Instagram, drop me a follow, DM me, let's connect. And I appreciate you all watching, like I said, and I'll catch you on the next one.